Not all crops are as green as they look. In this video, we're revealing 10 agricultural products that are quietly destroying the planet. Let's get into it. Cocoa. Cocoa, the raw ingredient for chocolate, faces complex environmental and ethical challenges. West Africa produces about 70% of the world's cocoa, but deforestation to clear land for plantations has led to significant forest loss, especially in Ivory Coast. Climate change exacerbates drought and heat stresses on cocoa trees, reducing productivity. Child labor is another serious issue, with an estimated 2 million children involved in hazardous work in cocoa production. While efforts like agroforestry and improved supply chain traceability are underway, deforestation and social problems remain widespread in cocoa-growing regions. Bananas. Bananas are a dietary staple globally, but come with a significant environmental and social cost. Large-scale banana plantations rely heavily on agrochemicals that contaminate water, erode soils, and reduce biodiversity. The dominance of the Cavendish variety makes crops vulnerable to pests and diseases, requiring even more chemical use. Shipping bananas thousands of miles to Western countries contributes substantially to carbon dioxide emissions. Additionally, workers in the banana industry earn only 5% of the final retail price and often face poor working conditions, highlighting deep social inequities in the supply chain. Coffee. Coffee's global popularity is undeniable, with average consumption of about 2.7 cups per person daily and approximately 2 billion cups consumed worldwide each day. Yet coffee production contributes heavily to carbon emissions, especially during cultivation, processing, packaging, and transport. The shift from traditional shade-grown coffee to sun-exposed plantations has led to widespread habitat loss and a decline in biodiversity in tropical regions. Intensive use of fertilizers, irrigation, and pesticides further adds to its environmental footprint. Sustainable coffee initiatives such as fair trade and shade-grown certifications are gaining traction but remain a small fraction of the market. Cotton. Cotton is the world's most widely grown non-food crop, supporting the livelihoods of over 250 million people globally and accounting for nearly 7% of labor in developing countries. However, its environmental cost is heavy. Cotton farming consumes enormous amounts of water, often depleting freshwater resources in already water-scarce areas. The crop's reliance on pesticides and fertilizers degrades soil quality, contaminates water, and harms biodiversity. Continuous cotton cultivation reduces soil nutrients, forcing farmers to clear new lands, which leads to habitat destruction and further environmental degradation. Rice. Rice feeds over half the world's population, but is also a major source of methane, a greenhouse gas over 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Flooded rice paddies create oxygen-free environments that encourage methane-producing microbes. According to the Environmental Defense Fund, rice cultivation emits roughly the same amount of greenhouse gases as 1,200 coal-fired power plants. While alternate wetting and drying methods can reduce methane emissions, they may increase nitrous oxide emissions, another potent greenhouse gas. Scientists are exploring how to balance water use in rice farming to minimize overall emissions while maintaining yields. Wheat. Wheat cultivation spans an area roughly the size of Greenland and has been a human staple for over 10,000 years. Yet its environmental impact is significant and growing. The use of synthetic fertilizers, responsible for about 5% of global greenhouse gas emissions, not only contributes to climate change, but also causes nutrient runoff that triggers harmful algae blooms and dead zones in oceans, damaging marine ecosystems. Wheat is the second most water-intensive crop after rice and depends heavily on pesticides that threaten biodiversity. Experts suggest sustainable approaches like nitrogen-fixing cover crops and circular agriculture to reduce wheat's ecological footprint. Corn. Corn cultivation is a major contributor to air and water pollution, especially in countries with extensive agricultural sectors. The heavy use of synthetic fertilizers releases nitrogen oxides, harmful gases that affect air quality and human health. Pesticides used in corn farming can drift far beyond fields, contaminating other ecosystems. Corn's high water demand strains aquifers and freshwater sources, especially in drought-prone regions. Additionally, corn production is linked to substantial greenhouse gas emissions, including carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide, fueling climate change. The combined effects make corn one of the most environmentally impactful crops globally. Sugarcane. Covering approximately 65 million acres worldwide, sugarcane is a major crop with a significant environmental footprint that's often overlooked. The production process generates pollutants like silt, fertilizers, and chemical sludge that contaminate freshwater systems, damaging vital coral reefs such as Australia's Great Barrier Reef and the Mesoamerican Reef. In Brazil, sugarcane plantations have contributed to shrinking the Atlantic forest to just 7% of its original size, a biodiversity hotspot vital to global ecological health. With global sugarcane demand projected to increase by nearly 50% by 2050, the pressure on these ecosystems is set to intensify, underscoring the urgent need for sustainable farming practices. Soybeans. While many associate soy with plant-based diets, an astonishing 77% of global soy production goes to feeding livestock, with only about 7% consumed directly by humans as products like tofu and soy milk. This massive demand drives extensive deforestation in critical ecosystems like the Amazon and the Cerrado in South America, resulting in habitat destruction, biodiversity loss, and increased carbon emissions. Despite initiatives like the Amazon soy moratorium, deforestation continues in unregulated regions. Soy farming also relies heavily on irrigation, pesticides, and fertilizers, which contaminate soil and water resources, threatening ecosystems and human health on a broad scale. Palm oil. Palm oil is one of the world's most versatile and widely used agricultural products, found in everything from food to cosmetics and even biofuels. But its environmental cost is staggering. In Southeast Asia, palm oil production is a leading driver of deforestation, responsible for significant greenhouse gas emissions and the loss of irreplaceable biodiversity. Forests cleared for plantations release vast amounts of carbon, accelerating climate change, while the use of harmful pesticides pollutes waterways and threatens the health of local communities. Indigenous peoples also lose access to traditional lands and food sources as plantations expand. With global demand expected to double in the coming decades, the environmental impact of palm oil is a critical concern for the planet's future. These crops are harming our planet, but we can make a difference by choosing smarter. Like and follow for more.